So how should people जिन्हें इन्वेस्ट करना है स्टॉक्स में या म्यूचुअल फंड्स में, हाउ शुड दे रिसर्च या कैसे उन लोगों को प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए?
अगर आपको खुद से रिसर्च करना है तो देन आई वुड सजेस्ट दैट you go to certain websites, like for example for me mutual funds, the best website that I go to is there's a age minus 10 rule which says ki if your age is, for example, let's say if you're 20-year-old, so 20 minus 10, that means 90% of your portfolio can go to risky assets.
Raising a child in urban India is now estimated at over 1.2 crore rupees by the time they are 21.
A lot of mothers after getting pregnant think about getting insurance, but I think when you start planning your kid, insurance is the one non-negotiable thing that you must have. The rich invest first and spend later. I think that should be the thinking that you should adopt.
लोग कहते हैं कि पैसा सब कुछ नहीं है, बट आई फील पैसे के बिना भी कुछ नहीं है. बच्चों को फाइनेंस सिखाना इम्पोर्टेंट है, बट उससे इम्पोर्टेंट है पेरेंट्स को फाइनेंस सिखाना, क्योंकि इंडिया में कोई भी पेरेंट फाइनेंस डिस्कस ही नहीं कर रहा है. जितना इम्पोर्टेंट इनकम, पैसे कमाना है, उतना ही इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि उस पैसे को कैसे मैनेज करें अपने बच्चे की एजुकेशन, मैरिज और अदर नीड्स के लिए. सो दिस एपिसोड इज गोइंग टू बी अ फाइनेंशियल गाइड फॉर ऑल द पेरेंट्स वॉचिंग दिस. एंड आज की हमारी जो गेस्ट है, शी इज नॉट जस्ट अ CA बट शी इज ऑल्सो एन एंकर एट NDTV Profit. तो आज हमारे साथ है CA महिमा वज्राजन. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people don't get that right, so kudos to you.
मैं भी पहले सोच रही थी, is it वज्राजानी, वाचराजानी? So I thought I'll just ask.
No,
Welcome to Moms Unmuted.
Thank you so much.
So Mahima, you're a CA, anchor at NDTV Profit, and before all this, आपका खुद का relationship कैसा था when it comes to money in your family?
Right. So, in my family, I think, thankfully, by God's grace, we've been very transparent when it comes to talking about money. But I've seen a lot of households where money conversations are something which is very uncomfortable,
limited.
right? Very
Yeah.
limited. लोग बात नहीं करते हैं.
नहीं
अगर पैसे की प्रॉब्लम है तो भी हम अपने बच्चों के साथ डिस्कस नहीं करते हैं. But I think that's the wrong way to approach it. I think you should be transparent when it comes to money conversations. कभी भी किसी भी दिन. And I think in my household, one thing was very clear कि अगर कुछ expensive खरीदना है, then you have to earn it. You just don't get it, right? So एक उसकी वजह से I think you learn as to how to value money, and in your life going forward also. Today also, if I want to buy something expensive, I'll ask myself this question कि मैं deserve करती हूँ या नहीं.
Wow,
Right?
that's a great thing, because हम लोग बहुत बोलते हैं कि बच्चों को मैथ्स एंड फाइनेंस सिखाना बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, बट आई फील बच्चों से ज़्यादा पहले पेरेंट्स को फाइनेंस सिखाना ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है, बिकॉज इंडियन फैमिलीज़ में फाइनेंस, मनी एक वो टॉपिक है जो बिल्कुल डिस्कस नहीं होता है. जो सबसे ज़्यादा डिस्कस होना चाहिए कि कैसे हम लोग फाइनेंस मैनेज करेंगे, अगर ये दिस इज़ द गोल तो हाउ विल वी रीच दैट गोल. बट ये चीज़ें बिल्कुल भी डिस्कस नहीं होती, एंड किड्स डोंट सी अस डिस्कसिंग दोज थिंग्स. तो आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड कि बच्चे अपने फाइनेंसेस मैनेज करना कैसे सीखेंगे.
Exactly. I think if you just throw them at 25 years कि चलो अब तुम पैसे कमाने लगे हो, तुम्हें अब financial planning शुरू करनी है, I think they'll be clueless. It's important that in your process of planning money, they'll understand what mistakes you are making so that they don't end up making the same mistake, right? And I think more than talking about finances, I think first it's important for parents to learn the psychology of money. I think the book, The Psychology of Money, is so important for everybody to read, so that it explains your relationship with money, your thinking with money, right? So I think that is very important. I think that is the first and foremost step before teaching your kids money. I think your relationship with money is something that you need to teach them. So I think if your child is probably 10 or 12 years old, I think he or she can pick up that book and read it away and try to understand as to how your thinking and psychology about money should be.
Amazing. Because as parents हम लोग ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा बोलते हैं कि बुक्स रीड करना, रीडिंग हैबिट फॉर्म करना इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बट दिस इज़, ये मैंने भी कभी नहीं सोचा था कि हम लोग बच्चों को थ्रू द बुक्स फाइनेंस भी सिखा सकते हैं. लाइक वी कैन पिक अप बुक्स दैट एक्सप्लेन फाइनेंस,
Yeah.
फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट, एंड ऑफ कोर्स वी कैन चैप्टर बाय चैप्टर उन्हें समझा सकते हैं that this is how you save, this is how you invest, this is how you fail.
Yeah. I think when you said that, it just clicked to me ki it could be like an everyday half an hour session at your home where you
Yeah.
just read a page or a chapter and then explain your kid as to what this means.
Exactly. So when did you realize कि मुझे finance को ही as a career लेना है? Was there any incident या ऐसा कुछ हुआ? Was there a point where you felt नहीं, this is something that I want to pursue and this is something जो मुझे लोगों को भी सिखाना है?
Okay, so finance मैंने कब चुना? It's a funny story because both my mom and dad have background in finance. So my dad is a company secretary and my mom is a cost accountant. So me being the elder one, they were like कि commerce ही करना है, and I was like science तो मुझसे होने नहीं वाला है because I was very bad at chemistry and physics. So I chose commerce and then I thought कि oh, what is the degree जो सबसे ज़्यादा पैसे देंगे? And that's how I ended up going in CA.
Okay.
Looking back, if I had a choice, I would not have done CA. Being very candid.
Because CA is not easy.
It's not
मैंने बहुत
easy.
सारे लोगों को देखा है who for this very objective कि इसमें बहुत पैसा है, they choose CA,
Yeah.
but उसमें सालों निकल जाते हैं, they
Yeah.
cannot clear CA.
So I think it's certainly not easy. अगर कोई भी अभी CA करने का सोच रहा है तो भी I would suggest कि if you have the grit, if you have the power to sit for 14 hours a day and study and do nothing,
14
and at the cost of, you know, probably not going to a friend's party and not going for a trip for 3-4 straight years, then only do it or else don't. So I think बहुत important है ये चीज़ जानना जिसको भी CA करना हो. But I think apart from that, when did I start figuring कि यार लोगों को finance फ्री में पता होना चाहिए, right? When I was studying for my CA, I used to go to a library where people from different walks of life used to come, right? There were people who were studying for MBBS, there were people studying for IAS, people studying for law, and I think the one thing that was common amongst all of them was everybody kind of had money because they were probably pursuing for masters or were earning some side income, but none of them knew as to how to grow that money. It was just sitting idle in their bank account.
Absolutely.
And that's when, you know, they kept on asking me कि मुझे क्या करना चाहिए. And around me, you know, to my friends, I used to tell them कि हाँ ठीक है, this is the mutual fund I'm investing in, you can go ahead and invest in that. You know, this is how I'm managing my finance. And that's when I realized कि यार this should not be something which should be chargeable. It should be free of cost. And that's how I decided to, you know, start creating content कि at least लोगों को पता होना चाहिए कि यार this is the money I'm making and this is how I can actually compound and grow it going forward.
So I have 8-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And last week की ही बात है. Of course, she's not ऐसे कुछ हासिल नहीं कर रही है. She doesn't has that part-time कुछ business or something. But yeah, she works with me. मेरे page पे she's a you know part of Mommy Adventures with Rahat. She is the inspiration. So 500 to 1000 रुपीज़ तो उसके पास रहता ही है. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल पॉकेट मनी मैंने दिया या पापा ने दिया. तो लास्ट वीक इट सेल्फ आई टोल्ड हर, राहत मुझे एवरी मंथ है ना आप अपने पॉकेट मनी में से 500 रुपीज़ देना. आई विल स्टार्ट योर SIP. एंड मैंने लास्ट वीक उसका SIP स्टार्ट किया. ऑफकोर्स उसने मुझे 500 दिया, मैंने उसका 2000 का SIP स्टार्ट किया. बट दैट्स हाउ वी स्टार्टेड कि एटलीस्ट वो 8 years की है, उसका SIP अभी से स्टार्ट होगा एंड धीरे धीरे आई नो दिस विल रीच अ लॉट. सो या जैसे आपने बोला ना, मुझे वो याद आया कि हमने लास्ट वीक ही स्टार्ट किया. सो आई थिंक इवन विथ 100-200 रुपीज़ पेरेंट्स कैन स्टार्ट. बच्चों में वो हैबिट फॉर्म होती है टू सेव एंड इन्वेस्ट. बैंक में रख के कुछ नहीं होने वाला है.
It's very, I think at the age of 8, it's kudos to you that you've started teaching her that because, you know, and this always reminds me of what Warren Buffett has said, right? He regrets starting late and still he's
even I regret starting this late.
So I think at the age of 8, it's wonderful. Every parent, I think, should set an example from it.
Thank you so much. Now we live in a joint family. So you know, मेरे जो parents हैं वो राहत को अपने एंगल से सिखाते हैं because they have that mentality कि पैसा वहाँ सेव करना चाहिए, इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए, which is very safe. जैसे गोल्ड हो गया, रियल एस्टेट हो गया. तो when she was 4 years years 5 years तब से मेरी मम्मी राहत की जितनी भी सेविंग्स जो भी बर्थडे पे उसको मिलता है या कुछ भी दिवाली पे फेस्टिवल्स पे मिलता है, दे सेव दैट अमाउंट एंड उसका हर बर्थडे पे एक गोल्ड कॉइन लेके रखती है. तो आई थिंक शी इज लर्निंग समथिंग फ्रॉम एवरीबॉडी. जैसे नानी से उसने ये चीज सीखा है कि गोल्ड में थोड़ा 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 इन्वेस्ट करते रहना है, एंड शी हैज अभी 4 to 5 गोल्ड कॉइन्स. अभी शी इज लर्निंग कि कैसे उसको SIP में इन्वेस्ट करना है धीरे धीरे. So I think इसका भी बेनिफिट है when you have different people around and you're learning how to save and how to invest those things in different sources.
So she's learning diversification at the age of 8.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
That was the term जो मुझे
Yeah.
नहीं पता था.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
She's
think
creating her portfolio, right?
she is 100%. And at the age of 8, I think she's going to be a multi-millionaire for sure when she grows up.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how should people जिन्हें invest करना है stocks में या mutual funds में, how should they research या कैसे उन लोगों को prepare करना चाहिए?
Right. So I think for mutual funds, I would say ki if you have a lot of money and if you can afford a SEBI registered analyst, that's the best way to go about it.
Okay.
You would probably make a good 15 to 18%, even 20% if your analyst is very good. From that, they will be charging some commission, which is worth giving because at the end of the day, your money is compounding.
Because people think कि portfolio manager या analyst hire करना is expensive. Is that so?
It is, but if you're making a 20% return, I think you can give 2% to them. You'll be end up making
that's
around
fair.
89%, right?
हाँ.
So I think that is one thing. अगर आपको खुद से research करना है, तो then I would suggest that you go to certain websites. Like for example, for me, mutual funds, the best website that I go to is Value Research. That's the one website that I go to every time to analyze what mutual fund I'm kind of investing in. But जिन लोगों को ये jargons भी समझ नहीं आते उस website पे, मैं ये recommend करूँगी, it's better that you consult a CA, a SEBI registered analyst who can probably help build your portfolio.
Correct. And say for example, I have certain amount to invest. How should I decide कि मुझे कहाँ invest करना चाहिए? Real estate हो गया, FD हो गया, gold हो गया, या फिर mutual funds या stock market?
Right. So इसमें there are multiple rules, right? For example, there's a age minus 10 rule, which says कि if your age is, for example, let's say if you're 20-year-old, so 20 minus 10, that means 90% of your portfolio can go to risky assets and 10% should be in non-risky assets. So non-risky में आ गया आपका debt mutual fund, आपका FDs exactly, which are not risky, right? No matter what, you will get some amount of money there. And 90% in risky, as in you can invest in stocks, you can invest in mutual funds, you can go ahead and invest in bonds as well, right?
90% in risky.
This is your age minus 10 rule. So for example, if you're 20-year-old, 20 minus 10, that is 10. So 90% of your portfolio can be in risky because you are young right now and you can take that much risk. That means you can put 90% in risky funds and 10% in non-risky fund. But then that has to change, right? For example, then you go and turn out to be 30, right? Then that dynamics change, 20% in non-risky and 80% in risky funds. So it keeps on changing as in when you age and your risk capacity changes, right? So that's one rule. Now, in terms of how you can diversify your portfolio, for anybody who wants to just be extremely non-risky, then I would suggest that, at least whatever portfolio you're trying to build, 50% of that goes in mutual fund. Of that, 20% goes into gold. So that's around 70% and remaining 30% मैं ये recommend करूँगी, you can divide that into various things like FDs, bonds, real estate. Real estate, I mean, I'm not a very big fan of going ahead and buying properties, but you can put your money in REITs, InvITs. And if you don't know how to go ahead and put your money in REITs and InvITs, you can just go ahead and buy a multi-asset mutual fund, which gives you exposure to these REITs, InvITs, etc. So that's how you get exposure to each and every, product of, financial product.
Correct. So we also have multi-asset mutual funds, जो खुद ही अलग-अलग assets में diversify करते हैं. So when you said I'm not a big fan of real estate, because there are so many people who love this investment real estate because they think उसमें से rent तो आ ही रहा है, plus उस पे आपका जो cost है, जो asset का value है, वो भी increase होता है.
Correct.
So
So the thing is, I mean, it also depends on where you are buying this real estate, right? For example, let's say we're talking about Mumbai. In the last 5 years, if I'm not wrong, the prices of real estates have overall real estate has gone up, but the secondary buying that is happening has not really gone up. For example, my Masi had bought a flat which was worth 5 crore rupees when she bought.
Okay.
Today, the value is hardly 6 crore in the past 7 odd years, which is not a good capital appreciation. At the same time, the rental yields are hardly in that range of 7 to 8%, which even your FD gives, right?
Correct.
At the same time, it's a huge capital commitment that you're making, which is why I feel that it's not, people think like they're building another asset, but in my opinion, I think rather than putting your money into something that's just giving you a yield of 7 to 8%, you'd rather put it in a mutual fund that at least gives you 12% in terms of compounding. Of course, if you're planning it from a point of view कि यहाँ मैं आके रहूंगी या रहूंगा,
that's
a separate story. But as a part of investment, I'm not a very big fan of real estate investing.
Let's talk about parenting.
Yeah.
You know, parenting itself is very difficult, and जब finance का pressure आता है, तो it's again और भी ज़्यादा difficult. So there's this stats. Let's start with the number. Raising a child in urban India is now estimated at over 1.2 crore rupees by the time they are 21. So as an expert, what do you think? Should this number scare us या guide us?
I don't think it should scare you. I think it's time to wake up because it's true. It's true. Your stats are true because today, for example, I'm living in Mumbai, and just to send a child to preschool, it's costing 1 lakh rupees, right?
Yeah.
And that's a huge amount of money. I don't think we have paid that kind of money when we were going to school, right? So it's true that by the time your kid turns of the age that he or she has to go to college, things are going to run in crores. But I think
totally.
I think to change that kind of psychology behind money, rather than being scared, I think it's time to wake up and start investing in that format, right? For example, अगर 15 साल का भी टाइम है या चलो 20 साल का भी टाइम है आपके पास, अगर आज भी आप एक 10,000 की SIP शुरू करोगे in any mutual fund that is giving you around 12% return, मैं बोल रही हूँ इंडेक्स भी जनरली 12% रिटर्न दे रहा है, तो any mutual fund that is giving you 12% return, CAGR return, अगर आप 10,000 आज इन्वेस्ट करोगे without even stepping it up, 20 years down the line you'll have around 1.5 crore rupees in your hand. You don't have to do anything. Just 10,000 rupees every month of SIP
for
in
20
fund
years.
For 20 years. That is giving you around 12% CAGR returns. It is, a simple and easy game. And this 10,000, let's say if you start stepping it up, let's say for example, first year आपने 10,000 किया, then you step it up by another 10 odd percent. So 1,100 किया. Considering that every year you just step it up by 10%, then this 1.5 crore will go to around 3 to 3.5 odd crore in the next 20 years. So I think that's the way how you should deal with money rather than stressing about it.
No, but this is interesting. आप सिर्फ 10,000 कर रहे हो, तो it's 1.5 crores and you're just stepping it up by 10% and it doubles up.
Exactly, because that's the power of compounding, and that's the power of how the smallest change in your step of SIP will give you more return.
So when you say compounding, जिन लोगों को ये term नहीं समझ आता है, उनके लिए if you can just explain in simple words what is compounding?
Yeah, so basically power of compounding एक example से समझते हैं. Let's say 10,000 रुपए आज आपने डाले, 12% let's say एक महीने में वो रिटर्न दे रहा है, तो एक महीने में आपका 10,000 हो जाएगा 11,200. Let's say this 11,200, if you invest in the second month and at the same time you're getting a 12% return, then that will give you an amount of around 13,440. So in 2 months at 12% return, your 10,000 is growing into 13,440. This basically is power of compounding.
Okay. So ये जो returns है, ये monthly calculate होते हैं? I think yearly होते हैं.
So generally it's a CAGR return. It's a part of monthly plus yearly calculation, which happens via calculators. I think you don't need to get into the depth of that. Honestly, there are millions of calculators available to calculate your CAGR returns. If you want, you can also attach the same to your description.
Yeah.
And I think it's a difficult math to kind of get into. So I think you can use those calculators and understand कि आपका 10,000 5 साल में 10 साल में कितना बनेगा.
Amazing. So I think this will be very helpful for the audience who's watching this episode. We'll attach the link to this calculator in our description so that they can use it and calculate their returns accordingly.
Perfect.
So let's come back to parenting. जैसे आपने बोला कि मुंबई में education इतना ज़्यादा costly हो गया. Let me give you an example of Bangalore. Bangalore में I have my family. Our kids go to a play school. It's not even a preschool yet. It's just play school. वहाँ पर their fees is 20,000 per month. तो आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड प्ले स्कूल में ही अभी इतनी फीस है, देन उसके बाद प्राइमरी, प्री स्कूल, प्राइमरी, सेकेंडरी, ये सब तो होगा ही, उसके बाद कॉलेज. आई डोंट थिंक इवन 1.2 करोड़ जो हम अमाउंट बोल रहे हैं ऑफ रेजिंग अ चाइल्ड टिल 21 years, इट्स एन अंडरस्टेटेड फिगर. जो एक्चुअल फिगर है वो तो उससे कहीं ज़्यादा है.
Yeah. And I think because of inflation also, as you rightly mentioned, I think आज का जो probably 50 लाख है would probably be 1.5 crores by the time of your child turning into that 21 years old, right? So I think that's where the idea of investing early with the smallest amount comes into picture. But yes, it is true that education inflation is a thing. Inflation एक side है, education inflation एक side है. It's become a complete separate business where parents have that pressure कि यार हमारा बच्चा best of schools में जाए, but at the same time the cost is going really up. Recently in my organization only I was talking to one of my heads and she was telling me कि preschool में डालने के लिए भी दोनों parents और उसके guardians का interview लिया गया, and the fees that they were charging in Mumbai for a child was 1 lakh rupees, and I was like 1 lakh rupee for preschool.
Yes.
फिर 12th में और college में क्या ही करोगे, right? Because I remember we used to study at what 10,000 rupees a month, not even a month, I think probably a year. And I think if that's the way things are going for putting your child into the best school, I don't know how that's going to end up settling.
Not मुंबई की तो बात दूर रही, इवन इन वडोदरा, आप गुजरात के वडोदरा सिटी में रह के भी आप पेइंग 1 lakh फॉर द प्री स्कूल. So
it's a bubble. It's a bubble, and I think it's here to stay because every parent would want the best of education for their children. So I think rather than running away from that reality, I think it's better to just start planning.
But यही figures और यही information देख के बहुत सारे लोग ये बोलते हैं कि we are not yet ready for a child, क्योंकि parents पीछे पड़े रहते हैं, बच्चा कर लो, this is the right age, this is the right time, but they feel we are not financially ready, कि हम हमारा खर्चा ही पूरा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं as a couple, तो हम बच्चे को कैसे बड़ा करेंगे, कैसे पालेंगे, because we need crores to raise a child. अभी it's not like कि बच्चा हो गया खुद ही बड़ा हो जाएगा, खुद ही पल जाएगा जैसा पहले हुआ करता था. But it's a different scenario right now, and उसी वजह से I guess there are many couples who drop this idea of having a child. ये जो भी डिंक couples और ये सारा जो चल रहा है मार्केट में, I don't know. But this is the reason I guess, because they're not financially, mentally ready to take that extra responsibility. तो उन लोगों को आप क्या बोलना चाहोगे?
So I think I am a part of one of those parents who's still thinking कि यार कब, because it's just been 4 months since me and my husband got married, but the idea of a child is far beyond us right now, and when I was talking to my mom about the same thing, she's like, listen, you're 29, it's going to be difficult once you turn 30, and there's something that she said which is not very financially sound, but it struck me so well. She said that the child, when it comes, it brings his or her own share of money to your life, which
this is what we hear from every parent, कि बच्चा अपना नसीब खुद लेकर आता है,
which was very like it calmed my thoughts down for sure. But then I started thinking about it as well, right? If not today, maybe a year down the line, 2 years down the line, we'll have to at least start planning for the same. So I think for everybody who's thinking ki they want to plan bringing a child into this world, I think 2 or 3 things are very important. One is insurance. Pehle se a lot of mothers after getting pregnant think about getting insurance, but I think when you start planning your kid, insurance is the one non-negotiable thing that you must have, because that is something which is going to help you in paying your pregnancy cost, plus once your child comes into this world, उसका vaccination, उसके medical treatments etc. के लिए बहुत ही ज़्यादा important है.
So when you say insurance, do you mean health insurance?
Medical insurance,
Medical
basically.
insurance.
And not from a perspective of investment point of view, but actual insurance that helps you pay your medical bills.
Correct. So as you're mentioning this, उससे पहले कुछ चीज़ें हैं that I wanted to mention, because when we start planning having a child, तो मदर्स जो है जनरली सिर्फ इन्हीं चीज़ों के लिए प्रिपेयर करती हैं. वन इज़ डिलीवरी का कॉस्ट हो गया कि हॉस्पिटल का कितना खर्चा होने वाला है, हॉस्पिटल बैग और बच्चे के जो बेसिक चीज़ें रिक्वायरमेंट है स्टार्टिंग में. आई थिंक उतनी चीज़ों के लिए दे प्रिपेयर इवन फाइनेंशियली, मेंटली. बट देयर आर सो मेनी अदर कॉस्ट जो उस वक्त उन्हें दिमाग में नहीं आता है. So let me just mention some of those real costs जो मैंने खुद ने एक्सपीरियंस किए हैं. So there are some cost medical beyond delivery, like every month जब बच्चा होता है, every month you have to visit the pediatrician. ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि आपने एक बार बच्चा कर लिया then you don't visit. You have every monthly visit to pediatrician. Vaccinations which go up to 20 to 40,000 per year. And अगर इमरजेंसी हो गई तो उसका एडिशनल कॉस्ट होता है. देन वी हैव फीडिंग रिलेटेड कॉस्ट. लोग बोलते हैं ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग इज फ्री. नो, लैक्टेशन कंसल्टेंट्स का कॉस्ट, ब्रेस्ट पम्प्स, फॉर्मूला ही 5 से 10 हज़ार हो जाता है कभी कभी मंथली. बॉटल्स, स्टोरिलाइजर्स, ये सारी चीज़ों का अलग कॉस्ट. देन यू हैव हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट सिस्टम. You say you need a village to raise a child, and आजकल couples अकेले रहते हैं. You don't have joint families, so you need help, you need support. Nannies with a specialized professionals आ गए हैं, जापा मेड, who themselves charge 40 to 50,000 per month. This is the salary. I've seen my friend hiring a japa maid for 50,000 per month.
Okay.
Yes.
That's new to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you have moms का recovery cost. हम लोग बच्चे का सारा cost देख लेते हैं, but moms का recovery cost हमेशा भूल जाते हैं.
Yeah.
If you're facing any problem, you will need a physiotherapist, you will need supplements, you will need medical support, and worst cases में you will also need mental support.
Yeah, because postpartum is a thing.
Yes,
and people
it
don't
is.
actually pencil in that.
And it's a thing right now.
Yeah.
मतलब अब सबको पता है कि postpartum depression, postpartum is a thing, and you need mental support.
Yeah.
And there are so many other lifestyle adjustment expenses. ये सारे expenses कोई account में नहीं लेता है when you are planning a child or planning a delivery.
Yeah.
So if a parent or if a couple is planning a child, ये सारे चीज़ों को ध्यान में रखते हुए, how should they prepare?
So I think firstly, जैसे मैंने बोला कि for all your medical bills, I think insurance is a must, and this is way beyond you get pregnant. When you start planning to get pregnant, I think that's when you should start taking your insurance. I think उसके दो फायदे हैं. One, it will cover a lot of areas that you just talked about, and secondly, your premium will be at a lower cost because you're still not pregnant. So they will give you a insurance policy where premiums are lower, because एक बार आप pregnant हो गए, उनको पता है कि ये cost तो होने ही वाले हैं. So at the same time आपके premium expensive हो जाते हैं.
Yes.
So I'd suggest that a medical insurance premium is a must.
So medical insurance, you're saying आप plan करने का सोच रहे हो तब से ही you have to start. कोई ऐसे examples या कोई ऐसे names है medical insurance में that they can take?
No, not really. Medical insurance, you have to go to a consultant. They will suggest what's best for you.
Okay.
You can just go ahead with what suits you better.
Okay.
The second thing, I think what I've realized is, and this is recently, in one of my closest families I've seen, when she got pregnant, and that's when I realized that जो आप बोल रहे हो कि स्टरलाइजेशन के कॉस्ट, ब्रेस्ट पम्प के कॉस्ट एक्सेट्रा, ये सब आप पेंसिल ही नहीं करते हो. तो आई थिंक व्हेन यू स्टार्ट प्लानिंग, यू इमरजेंसी फंड की बात सब लोग करते हैं, बट मैं मानती हूँ कि व्हेन यू आर प्लानिंग योर प्रेगनेंसी, एक केओस फंड भी बनाओ, विच इज एटलीस्ट 6 months of your salary or whatever you're making a month, right? So that 6 months fund, I would suggest कि आप एक liquid fund में डालो, जो जब भी आपको चाहिए आप वहाँ से निकाल के तुरंत यूज कर सकते हैं.
So for example, अगर किसी की सैलरी 50,000 है, तो you're suggesting at least 3 lakhs का वो
3 lakh
फंड
रुपए.
होना चाहिए.
Correct. 3 lakhs का वो chaos fund होना चाहिए, जो आप बैंक अकाउंट में मत रखो. Put it in a liquid fund, a liquid mutual fund, or let's say you buy a gold bar. Again, I'm not a very big fan of gold bar, but gold ETF या किसी में डालो, जो तुरंत पैसा निकाल के आप कल पेमेंट कर सकते हैं, right? This will help you cover your अनएक्सपेक्टेड कॉज, जैसे आप बोल रहे हो कि कहीं कहीं पे मेडिकल इमरजेंसी आ गई या कहीं कोई बड़ा खर्चा आ गया, दिस कियोस्क फंड इज फॉर दैट. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, एक इमरजेंसी फंड तो मैं बोलती हूँ कि इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ वेदर यू प्लानिंग प्रेगनेंसी और नॉट, एक इमरजेंसी फंड ऑफ 6 months इन लिक्विड फंड्स होना ही चाहिए, irrespective of what you're doing. So I think these two things, insurance and a kiosk fund, should be there. And apart from that, whatever you're doing, SIPs या जो भी करो वो कंटिन्यू करो. ये सोच के बंद मत कर दो कि अरे आगे का खर्चा आना वाला है तो मैं इसको अभी से सेव. तुम SIP करते हुए सेव ही कर रहे हो, तो डोंट स्टॉप योर SIPs, because I've seen this in my family. One of my people in my family did this, कि जैसे ही प्रेग्नेंट हुए हमने SIP बंद कर दी क्योंकि हमने बैंक अकाउंट में सेव करना शुरू किया. अरे 9 महीने है आपके पास अभी भी, टू काइंड ऑफ यूज दैट मनी. डोंट डू दैट. इफ यू आर स्कैर्ड, पुट इट इन लिक्विड फंड्स सो दैट आपको 9 महीने के बाद उसकी जरूरत पड़ेगी तो आप उधर से निकाल के यूज कर सकते हो. बट 9 महीने का why would you want to lose that 12% interest that you're making?
So there's this 30% rule जो मैंने आई थिंक आपके कंटेंट में ही देखा है. टेल अस समथिंग अबाउट लाइक व्हाट इज दैट 30% रूल.
So I think it should be 50, 20 and 30 rule that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think बहुत सिंपल रूल है. बेसिकली फ्रॉम वॉट एवर यू आर मेकिंग, 50% should be something that you spend, but out of that I think 30% is something where you go ahead and save non-negotiably. So 50% आपका ये नॉर्मल खर्चे, रेंट, फूड, बिल्स एक्सेट्रा, यूटिलिटी बिल्स एक्सेट्रा आ गया. 20% should be where you are making your परचेजेस जो आप जनरली नहीं करते हो, बट लेट्स से क्लोथ्स है, बैग्स है, शूज है एक्सेट्रा. बट 30% ट्रैवल हो गया. 30% इज व्हाट यू मोस्ट सर्टनली शुड सेव. आई थिंक हियर इट रिमाइंड्स मी ऑफ अ रिच डैड पुअर डैड कोट वेयर इट सेज कि द रिच इन्वेस्ट फर्स्ट एंड स्पेंड लेटर. आई थिंक दैट शुड बी द thinking that you should adopt, and that's what I do. Just for your viewers perspective, I think what I do is I maintain 2 separate bank accounts. एक bank account में जिसमें whatever I'm making, salary या जो भी I'm making comes in through that bank account. On the first of every month, the amount that I'm supposed to save, I transfer it to my other bank account, and that's the bank account जहाँ से मेरी SIP, मेरे investments होते हैं. So I think it's better to keep those two separate, कि इतना अमाउंट इसमें ट्रांसफर कर ही दिया ताकि वो आप यूज ही नहीं करो, एंड इट गोज टू योर सेविंग्स. आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू टू हैव 2 बैंक अकाउंट्स, one from which you're saving and one from which you're spending.
And what do you think are some of the major mistakes जो आजकल के लोग कर रहे हैं, या मे बी यंग पेरेंट्स या पेरेंट्स या इन जनरल कोई भी जो अपने 25 प्लस है वो कर रहे हैं कंसर्निंग देयर मनी हैबिट्स या फाइनेंस को लेके?
I think the one thing that I have seen as a major mistake is, एक तो आपने बात की, right, not starting early. I mean, I've seen professionals who are making good amount of money, महीने का लाख 1.5 लाख, but still not saving that amount, right? Thinking कि हाँ ठीक है 30 के हो जाएंगे फिर savings शुरू करेंगे. I think that's not the right approach. Start as early as possible and save as early as possible. The second thing is कि and this is what my mindset works like, कि जैसे आपने बोला कि वो 50-20-30 रूल में कैसे चेंज करोगे. Rather than doing that, why don't you plan ki what's the second source of income from where I can make money, keep spending that 20%, but raise that amount for 30%, right? If you have a second source of income, I think today for anybody who's doing a job, the idea of building a net worth of crores of rupees far ahead of what they think, right? So I think it's important to have a second source of earnings from where you can afford these frivolous things,
right,
or maybe increase your savings by.
Okay. And I think जैसे हमने ये बोला कि there should be this rule 50-30-20, बट अगर जो कपल है, हस्बैंड वाइफ है, वो लोग डिस्कस ही नहीं करते हैं अपने घर में कि दिस इज द अमाउंट दैट आई एम गेटिंग, दिस इज द अमाउंट आई एम गेटिंग, एंड हाउ आर वी गोइंग टू यूज इट, दीज आर आवर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, दीज आर आवर गोल्स after 5 years, after 10 years, and this is how we are planning. So what would your suggestion be for those couples?
So this is a very interesting question, and I'd like to answer this because we've done this very recently. Like when I got married, me and my husband, we decided to do this, कि savings has to be a completely separate aspect. He saves his own money, I save my own money. उसमें we don't combine or pool our resources. Okay. But I think spending is one place where we've decided कि I think most money matters happen when spending comes into picture, right? So I think what the rule that we follow is that जितना भी my husband Jay earns और जितना मैं earn करती हूँ उसके proportionate में we do spending. So जैसे मैंने बोला कि I have two bank accounts, one is saving and one is from where I spend. I have one more joint account with Jay where first of every month both of us as per our proportionate money we just send that money into that bank account एंड फिर पूरे महीने उसी बैंक अकाउंट में से जो भी स्पेंडिंग करना है रेंट यूटिलिटीज फूड एक्सेट्रा हैपन्स फ्रॉम दैट अकाउंट सो आई थिंक दिस रूल वर्क्स फॉर अस एंड इट शुड वर्क फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल एज वेल कि जो भी कॉमन खर्चे हैं शुड बी फ्रॉम वन बैंक अकाउंट इन दैट प्रोपोर्शनेट ऑफ मनी दैट यू आर मेकिंग एंड एट द सेम टाइम योर सेविंग्स शुड बी अ सेपरेट एस्पेक्ट्स बोथ ऑफ यू कैन सेव योर ओन मनी सेपरेटली think of saving as a different thing and frivolous spending also should be a separate thing. Of course gifting is a separate aspect, but you making frivolous expenses from the remaining part that you have is of the utmost important and not from the pooled amount.
So this is with regards when both of the both
Partner.
of them they are working. Say for example अगर wife है, she's a housewife, a homemaker and only the husband is earning. So I guess वहाँ पर भी there should be some communication when it comes to financial part या spending part, expenses, saving, investments. I don't think India में when it comes to homemakers they are being involved in all these decisions या ऐसे महीने में एक बार भी अगर आप बैठकर ये सारी चीजें डिस्कस कर लो ना आई थिंक इट विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल
Yeah, 100%. I think it should be a part of every dinner conversation. At least once a month, like you said, or maybe twice a month. Ki, this is what I'm making, this is what I'm saving, this is what I'm planning in the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years. Or if, let's say, planning ये है कि घर खरीदना है, कार खरीदना है, this is what my plans are, right? So accordingly, I think, and this is important to kind of have a conversation about, is because the other partner will also then know कि मुझे किस चीज पे spend करना है, किस पे नहीं करना है, right? That those decisions are dependent on how much you're trying to save.
इसीलिए फिर हस्बैंड्स वो फ्रस्ट्रेट होते हैं कि तुम मुझसे सिर्फ पैसे मांग रही है, ये भी खर्चा कर रही है, वो भी खर्चा कर रही है, एंड यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड कि मैं कहाँ से कितना मेहनत करके पैसा ला. भाई यू आर नॉट इन्वॉल्विंग हर, यू आर नॉट डिस्कसिंग एनीथिंग विथ हर. I guess there's a lack of communication between the two of you. जब वो बोल रही है कि मुझे इतना अमाउंट चाहिए मेरे एक्सपेंसेस के लिए एंड यू आर गिविंग इट टू हर, उसके बाद आप सुना रहे हो. बट आई थिंक देयर शुड बी अ डिफरेंट अप्रोच इन दिस व्हेन इट कम्स टू फाइनेंस. आई थिंक वहाँ पर वो फ्रस्ट्रेशन या जो भी डिफरेंसेस हैं वो भी सॉल्व हो सकते हैं.
100%. I think communication is the key.
Let's talk about the parents who are planning या फिर who have a child and they are in their 30s, maybe 30-year-old या फिर 32-year-old, and they have a baby or are planning one, but उन्होंने अब तक कुछ भी save नहीं किया है. How should they start?
I think first of all, though, they should have started earlier. But if you've not, the right approach to it is कि when you start early, you start from a small amount.
Yeah.
But now that you're late, you have to start with big amounts coming in. So, for example, if you were in your 20s and you started at 10,000 rupees, I think if you are in your 30s, you should at least start with 25 to 30,000 SIP a month, which is non-negotiable. And then I think your entire diversification of funds also is differentiated, because now you're 30, so your risk taking capacity also comes down.
Yeah.
So then like I said, the age minus 10 rule, if you're 30, at least 80% should go in your risky funds and 20% should kind of go in non-risky funds, and then it should change every decade of your life, right? So I think these are the things that should be important. Plus I think when you're 30, you will be closer to your child's planning for education as well, right? So I think separately planning for an education also makes sense then, because sometimes what happens is कि एकदम से education की बात आने लगती है for further education, college वगैरह. This happened in my household, right? My brother decided to go out and study US में. So then it was good that my father had already planned for a situation like this. We had funds, loan का भी planning करके रखा था. So I think that requirement of planning is also required. If you're planning to take a loan as well, तो लोन के लिए भी कुछ अमाउंट तो अपने पास होना चाहिए रहेगा कि उसका, let's say for example, if you are spending around 50 lakhs rupees, तो full 50 lakhs rupees का लोन नहीं मिलेगा आपको. एटलीस्ट 25 लाख रुपीस बैंक अकाउंट में होंगे तो जाके आप दूसरे 25 लाख का लोन ले पाओगे, राइट? सो ऑल दोज थिंग्स ऑल्सो नीड टू बी टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन व्हाइल प्लानिंग व्हेन यूर इन योर 30s.
So, say for example, I have a child
Hmm.
who's, say for example, 1 year or 2 year old, and I am 32 years old. And मेरे दो major purposes हैं, one is education and one is marriage of the child. और इन दोनों purpose के लिए मुझे save करना है. आज से I have no savings अब तक इन दोनों चीज़ों के लिए. So how much should I invest? कहाँ invest करना चाहिए? And how will I get to that amount जो मेरा target amount है?
Got it. So this you can divide it into I think 3 things, especially for a child. एक something that's very safe. Because you have a daughter, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana is something that a lot of people are doing right now. The only drawback of this is कि उसका lock-in होता है, which is 18 years of age. So when you started from the first year of your child, 18 years तक उसका lock-in रहता है. The returns are also very specific when it comes to Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, 7 to 8%. But it's safe to invest into this fund because it's a government-owned fund, right? So this is one thing where you can go ahead and invest in. The second is जो अगर if you're a salaried person, I think you would be doing provident fund, तो वो एक तो आपका चल ही रहा है. And the third aspect is investing in mutual funds. मैं I think I've said this enough in this podcast as well, but if you're not, if you don't know or if you don't follow the stock markets daily, I would 100% not recommend you to go ahead and invest in a particular name. But I think the best way to take advantage of how the markets move is by investing into mutual funds and ETFs. So do your SIPs on time.
Okay. So these are the sources जहाँ मुझे invest करना चाहिए. Say for example, I'm earning 1 lakh rupees right now per month. And these are 2 of my objectives. मुझे education के लिए, say for example, 50 lakh का एक amount चाहिए when she turns 21 years. And शादी के लिए मुझे दूसरा 50 lakhs का एक corpus चाहिए when she turns maybe 25 years. And I'm starting today. तो मुझे कितने SIP से start करना चाहिए? How should I step up so that मुझे ये दो figures मिल सकें?
So I think for the first 50 lakhs that you talked about for education, or it can be for marriage also, but I think Sukanya Samriddhi में 10,000 every month you put should be a good amount to get you 70 to 75 lakhs by the time your child turns 18, because 18 years का lock-in period है.
Okay.
That's the general amount that you tend to accumulate in Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana.
Okay.
The other aspect with regards to marriage, I think that we talked about was अगर म्यूचुअल फंड में अलग से करना है, I think a 50 lakhs amount should I think a 10,000 SIP every month, or let's say even a 8,000 SIP every month, I think should not have, we'll try to get that math right, but I think 8 to 10,000 in SIP every month without stepping up should be more than enough for the next 15 or 20 odd years to get you to that amount.
So what do you think should come first? Financial planning for the child या फिर your own retirement planning?
I think both should go hand in hand because both are equally important. There is no point of giving one more importance and the other not, because you'll be aging at the same time. So retirement planning, especially for people who are not working with government organizations, who are not going to get pension even after they retire, I think it's very important that you plan for your retirement as well at the same time. I think retirement planning थोड़ा अलग से कर सकते हैं, जिसमें आप STP करो instead of SIP, which is systematic transfer plan. So basically it's just similar to what you do in SIP, but उसमें कैसा रहता है कि तुम SIP करते रहो, then let's say when you out of the age of 50 years, you start withdrawing money from it. So for example, आपने SIP करते रहे, in the last example that I gave, 25 years तक आपने SIP की, 2.8 crores का amount आया. अब वो 2.8 crores का तुम every year, every month, let's say 20,000 या 30,000 आप withdraw करते रहोगे, that money is still lying in that STP and getting compounded, but at the same time you start withdrawing it. So that's STP, systematic transfer plan. So I think STP combined with SIP is a good way of planning for your retirement.
Okay. Can we have some example with the calculations?
Yeah.
जैसे आज अगर मैं रेंट और ये सब हटा दूँ, so I guess me and my husband, हम लोगों को एक comfortable life जीने के लिए I think तब भी इतना amount enough होगा, will be 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh a month. I think this would be enough to live a comfortable life जहाँ पर हमारा कोई rent नहीं है, ये सारी चीज़ें नहीं होंगी.
Correct.
So अगर मुझे उस वक्त इतना अमाउंट चाहिए, तो मेरे पास एट द एज ऑफ 60 कितना कॉर्पस होना चाहिए, एंड हाउ शुड आई स्टार्ट इन्वेस्टिंग टुडे?
Okay, so last example में अपन ने 6,000 की बात करी.
And
That
let me
was
also add this.
Hmm.
I am 35 years right now, and I am starting my retirement planning today.
Okay, so 35 years means you'll be capable of doing an SIP of at least 50,000 rupees, I'm not wrong, a month. You can do that, right? So let's take that example then कि 50,000 का SIP a month कर रहे हो अगर आप, तो by the end of the time you are at the age of 60, if I'm not wrong, you'll have a corpus of 5 to 6 crore rupees, right? So at that age of 60, you stop doing SIP, right? Because your earning income has stopped. You start doing STP. So that SIP of yours starts getting converted into STP. So from that 5 to 6 crores of corpus, you keep withdrawing 1 lakh rupees every month. But आपका पूरा जो corpus है वो तो अपने हिसाब से compound होता ही रहता है, right? And that's when STP comes into picture. So that's how SIP plus STP works. You start STP once your SIP stops.
Okay, understood. Helpful. So, जैसे if we talk about 2026 and if I'm planning for my child, what do you think is better when I give 15 to 18 years का horizon? सुकन्या समृद्धि योजना, PPF या फिर equity SIP?
I think all three together, like I said, all three have their own different purposes. I think you can divide the amount that you're saving into
बट
all
फॉर
of these
एग्जाम्पल
funds.
किसी के पास इतना अमाउंट ही नहीं है वो डिवाइड कर सके, किसी के पास इतना ही अमाउंट है वो जो 10 से 20 हज़ार ही सेव कर सकता है.
So then I think it depends on your risk appetite. अगर आप थोड़ा रिस्क लेके कर सकते हो तो म्यूचुअल फंड्स में करो. अगर आपको बिल्कुल ही रिस्क नहीं करना है then go ahead and invest in सुकन्या समृद्धि योजना. PPF is very neutral, risk है भी नहीं भी है. So I think PPF I will rule out. अगर आप एम्प्लॉय हो तो वैसे भी प्रोविडेंट फंड में आपका पैसा जा रहा है. So ignoring that factor, I think if you want to completely take no risk, then invest in Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. If you're ready to take some risk, if you have that risk appetite in yourself, क्योंकि mutual funds at the end of the day move as per markets, right?
Yeah.
So then go ahead and invest in mutual funds.
Amazing. And what do you think जो लोग physical gold में invest कर रहे हैं and rather than that investing in digital gold जैसे gold bees हो गए, silver bees हो गए?
So gold के there are different aspects that you can go ahead and invest in gold. Physical gold, why generally we as finance creators or people who look at finance say no is because at the end of the day आप कुछ ना कुछ charges दे रहे हो उस पे, GST दे रहे हो, कुछ ना कुछ making charges थोड़ा सा भी, even for biscuits you're paying some amount of making charge. Jewelry तो is out of question if you're planning from an investment point of view because you end up paying a huge chunk of making charge on it as well as GST. But when it comes to gold ETFs, you're not doing the same, right? You're just actually putting in a fund which tracks gold prices. So आपका पूरा का पूरा पैसा goes into that gold price का amount without any additional charges, which is why gold as an investment, I think the best way to do it is gold ETFs. The other aspect is to make a slightly more amount of money from gold is if you already have physical gold in your hand is gold leasing. Okay. There are banks, there are these jewelry companies which take your gold on lease and pay you interest on it. तो अगर घर पे लॉकर में पड़ा है वो गोल्ड बिस्किट आपका, वो अप्रिशिएट तो हो रहा है उसके प्राइस के हिसाब से, बट एट द सेम टाइम यू कैन मेक इंटरेस्ट आउट ऑफ इट.
सो हमने पेरेंट्स को तो सिखा दिया फाइनेंस के सारे एस्पेक्ट्स, कैसे अपने पैसों को मैनेज करना है, फाइनेंसेस को मैनेज करना है. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द किड्स बिकॉज बच्चे भी वही सीखते हैं जो वो घर में देखते हैं. जैसे हम जो फाइनेंस डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, फाइनेंस नहीं डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, सो दे आर अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर फैमिली, एवरीथिंग. सो व्हाट आर द मिस्टेक्स दैट पेरेंट्स आर मेकिंग व्हेन इट कम्स टू किड्स एंड द मनी कॉन्वर्सेशंस?
I think this is a very interesting question, and I think this is something that I've been thinking about since a really long time because मेरे घर पे सिखाया गया था तो मुझे उसकी वैल्यू आज पता है. Two things I think. One is being very transparent when it comes to money conversation, जो आपने पहले भी बात करी कि जो भी आप अपने जो भी finances कैसे manage कर रहे हो, आपके कितने investments है, कहाँ है. By the time your child is of the age of understanding, he or she should know because you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. I think they should know as to how you're planning your finances and where all have you invested. So transparent conversations about money matters is a must. Secondly, I think the aspect of psychology, अगर हम बार बार घर में यही बोलते रहेंगे यार पैसे नहीं है, यार पैसे नहीं है, यार पैसे की कमी है, that gets inked into your child's psychology, and that over a period of time, no matter how much the child is going to make, is going to keep feeling कि यार पैसे नहीं है. So I think from a psychological point of view, this is very important.
एंड एज यू सेड कि बच्चे को वैल्यू सीखने दो उस चीज़ की. सो फॉर दोज पीपल यू नो जिनको लगता है कि हमें हमारे बचपन में सारी चीज़ें नहीं मिली, तो मैं तो अपने बच्चे को सब कुछ लेके दूंगा या लेके दूंगी. सो फॉर दोज फादर्स हु बाय एवरीथिंग फॉर देयर किड्स बिकॉज उन्हें लगता है कि मुझे ये नहीं मिला तो मैं तो अपने बच्चे की सारी इच्छाएं पूरी करूंगा, उसकी लाइफ में एकदम ईजी कर दूंगा, उन्हें आप क्या बोलना चाहेंगे?
No, I think same thing. Though 100% though, give everything that you probably did not get when you were a child. But I think it's at the same time teach them the importance of getting that thing. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपने उनको इतनी सारी चीजें दे दी और उनको वैल्यू ही नहीं पता है. Because then what happens is कि वो mindset चेंज होता ही नहीं है when you grow up. Then they think कि हाँ ये तो मेरा हक है लेने का. And then at the same time their relationship with money is very different if they are not able to fulfill that kind of requirement of their wants. So I think it's important कि आप उनको दो, but at the same time they should know, they should earn that from you, right? Not just get it because they asked for it.
इफ यू कुड एडवाइस 3 मनी हैबिट्स जो हर पेरेंट को सिखानी चाहिए अपने बच्चों को.
I think 3 things is first, start as early as possible. That is of the utmost important. Second, जो भी आप खरीद रहे हो उसकी value उनको पता होनी चाहिए. That's the one thing that you need to teach your kids. And the third thing is I think not just financial decisions that are happening in home, but apart from that अगर आप घर खरीदने का सोच रहे हो, कार खरीदने का सोच रहे हो, वो कैसे कैलकुलेट कर रहे हो, उनको पता होना चाहिए कि आपने कितना स्ट्रगल किया है उनके लिए टू buy these things. तो ये कॉन्वर्जेशन के भी पार्ट होने चाहिए आपके बच्चे once they are of the age of understanding these things. I think these three
involving
things
them in the
in every financial decision that you make.
से फॉर एग्जाम्पल मुझे इन्वेस्ट करना स्टार्ट करना है, आई हैव जीरो नॉलेज अबाउट एनीथिंग कि मुझे कैसे स्टार्ट करना है, कहाँ पर पैसे डालने हैं. सो 3 एप्स दैट यू कैन सजेस्ट टू आवर ऑडियंस जो हमें यूज करने चाहिए टू स्टार्ट इन्वेस्टिंग इन म्यूचुअल फंड्स और स्टॉक्स.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I do. Generally, for mutual funds, I use Grow. Grow is my go-to app because they have a very good algorithm which tells me कि कैसे कैगर कैलकुलेट करता है कोई म्यूचुअल फंड का, कितने रिटर्न्स देता है, उसका एक्सपेंस रेशियो क्या है, एक्सेट्रा. I like the interface that Grow has. So that's the first app that I use for mutual fund investing.
Okay.
For stock investing, I use Zerodha Kite because that has an easier interface. That is why. And if at all you're planning to invest in international ETFs or US stock exchanges, then I use IND Money. So these are the 3 go-to apps that I use for my mutual fund and stock investing.
सो आज का जो बिगेस्ट टेक अवे मुझे लगा हमारे सारे कॉन्वर्जेशन से, इट वाज पैसे कमाना तो डेफिनेटली इम्पोर्टेंट है ही, बट उस पैसे को कैसे मैनेज करना है ना, दैट इज़ मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. एंड लोग कहते हैं कि पैसा सब कुछ नहीं है, बट आई फील पैसे के बिना भी कुछ नहीं है.
100%.
सो अगर आपको हर पेरेंट को सिर्फ 3 फाइनेंशियल रूल्स देने हो, व्हाट वुड दे बी?
3 financial rules, again I think it has to be the same thing, like I said, ki start as early as possible. Don't panic when it comes to your money, because there has to be a way of saving and there has to be a way of multiplying of what you're making. Find different sources of income. And third is ki your like we talked about how retirement planning and education child's planning should be separate, but they should be done simultaneously. I think these are the 3 things that parents must keep in mind when they are planning a child. All of these things combined together will always make your financial journey easy.
Amazing, and this was so insightful. Thank you so much, Mahima.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, absolute pleasure.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode till the end. अगर आपने Moms Unmuted को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, please go press that button and अभी सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. And do not forget to like, comment and share this episode. Bye bye.